Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tyngsborough School Committee meeting, October 3rd, 2023, located here at Tyngsborough High School. My name is Anthony Tenorella. I officially call this meeting to order. We will start with introductions to my left.
Ari Teague, Student Representative.
Jeff Bowe.
Mike Woodlock, Assistant Superintendent.
Hi, Mike Flanagan, Superintendent.
Daniela Thanis.
Ryan McMahon.
Justine Puma.
Rob Mullen.
Good evening, Joe Messina, Business Administrator.
I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I will remind everyone that these meetings are audio and video recorded. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the September 19th, 2023 school committee minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 6-0-0. Citizen time. Seeing none. Correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We actually have 3 items of correspondence in your drive tonight. The first one is an email from our athletic director, Ann Palumbo, regarding LED lights at Pierce Field. As you know, we've had some issues with the lights at Pierce Field. We sought capital asset relief last year to no avail. So at this time, I would like to recognize the following families and classes for stepping up and donating upwards of $13,000 to replace the LED lights on Pierce Field. So thank you to the class of 2021 and 2023. Thank you to Zach, Josh, and the entire Triakis family for their support through the Durkin Company. I'd like to thank Denomi Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for their donation, as well as Byther Insurance and Frank Prevention Insurance. These are all longtime town names and longtime supporters of the Tyngsborough Public Schools, so thank you all for your support. And Carbon Colors will actually be printing the advertisements and putting up there for us as well, so thank you to Carbon Colors for their support as well. The second piece of correspondence that I'd like to share with you is the annual Adopt a Family Kickoff Letter. As you know, one of the things that makes Tyngsborough really special is our commitment to our community. And every year, Sarah Lewenzik and Sharon Fairbanks and the councils at every school, our nurses at every school work diligently to make sure that every student has a great holiday season. So the annual Adopt a Family Kickoff Letter is available for your review in your drive, and it's just a great program that started 35, 40 years ago with Larry Kelleher and Chief Chronopoulos and Eileen Flynn. So we got to remember our past and recognize that, and thank you to those who keep that going forward. The third piece of correspondence, which did not hit your agenda but is in your backup, is an Attendance Matters overview and flyer that the elementary school is sharing with families. I think one of the things that we're seeing in the data that's coming out now is we're a little concerned about absenteeism in the district, and we see it's across the state as well, but it's a nice reminder from the elementary school about absenteeism and the importance of being in school for academic and social emotional reasons as well. So at some point down the line, part of our data audit with DESE, Mr. Woodlock will be presenting more in depth on this issue, but a nice reminder from the elementary school that I thought the committee could enjoy tonight. And that's all I have for correspondence.
Perfect. Personnel, notification of resignations. I'll actually get these today.
Okay.
Laura Silva, TES, paraprofessional, 14-plus years of service. Carl Metz, TES, second shift custodian, 5 years of customer service. Good luck in your future endeavors. Notification of new hire Matthew Morales, Tyngsborough High School, second shift custodian. Welcome aboard. And now to share the success.
All right, so the elementary school will be holding a presentation later in this meeting where they will give their update. At the middle school, the past 2 weeks have gone really well. After-school activities and beyond sports have started with D&D club, esports, academic club, and sports club. Our advisory program has gone up a notch with great feedback from parents about hearing from their children each week about what is going well, and what challenges lay ahead. Progress reports are coming out in 2 weeks so that we can have an idea of how well students are communicating with their progress with their parents. All in all, we are moving into October in a good place. At the high school, thank you to all that attended at the open house last week. If you were unable to attend and have any questions, please reach out to Student Services to make an appointment. Congratulations to the newest members of NHS. They will be inducted tomorrow, October 4th at 7:30 p.m. Seniors Parent Information Night will be on Thursday. During this event, School counselors provide an overview on the college application process as students prepare to see what comes after high school. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Would you like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to take item 9A out of order.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries 600. At this time, we will turn it over to Ms. Kavanaugh and our elementary school students.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Kavanaugh is taking the easy way out, and she's not even going to get up and introduce herself. So this time, we'll turn it over right to our Tyngsborough Elementary School students. So thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Cole Gendron, and I'm a fifth grader in Mr. Lewis's class. We have been chosen by our teachers to share what is happening at TES. We are excited and a little nervous to be here tonight. Thank you for having us.
Hello, my name is Karen Otieno, and I'm a fifth grader in Mr. Stanley's class. The first day of school is a beautiful day, and we welcome 757 students to the building. We welcome 115 new students to the school community this year. We also have a new administrative assistant welcoming people as they enter the building. Miss Yu has joined us from the middle school. She has enjoyed getting to know the students, parents, and teachers at the elementary school.
Hello, I'm Gianluca Bukovic from Mrs. Roshilow's class. We wanted to take a moment and thank the custodians and maintenance staff for all they did over the summer to get our classrooms ready. We couldn't help but notice how amazing everything looked when we walked through the doors. Yesterday was National Custodian Day, and they took over our newscast. It was fun for us students to see them on the news and get to know them a little bit better.
Hello, I am Baxter Bouchard from Mrs. Vieira's class. A new feature this year for all of Tyngsborough students is free breakfast. The kitchen staff has been listening to the students and have made changes to October breakfast menu. There will now be a rotation of different cereals, Pop-Tarts, and muffins, but they promise to keep the breakfast bun, which is a big hit. Yesterday, 260 students picked up breakfast to the start of their day.
Hi, I'm Olivia Pelletier from Mr. Stewart's class. I had the opportunity to meet with our new school resource officer, Officer Gustafson. This is his 5th year with the Tyngsborough Police Department. He is enjoying his new role and had a great start to the school year. He's looking forward to developing relationships at each school and emphasized that he is available for students who need support. When we asked him for his advice, he told us to work hard in school and take time to study.
We each were able to ask teachers we had at some point while at TES how the start of their school year went. Each grade level provided us with some great updates. Miss Goldwaite reports that the preschool is off to an amazing start. They are learning all about what it means to be part of a community by taking turns, sharing, learning to sit, listen to others. They are singing songs and reading stories such as Sometimes in Bombaloo and The Pigeon Goes to School. They are learning how to navigate being in a classroom with others and learning how to follow rules and routines while making music with instruments, being creative by painting pictures and building community, building with blocks. Preschools report that their favorite part of the day is playing on the new playground.
Kindergarten has been working a lot of following directions, being safe in a classroom, and being a good kind of friend to others. They're learning the difference between expected and unexpected behaviors in the cafeteria, bathroom, and hallways. Mrs. Sword told us that they're currently working on new vocabulary words and they read alouds each day. Students are learning how to write letters both uppercase and lowercase. Read alouds each day. Students are learning how and the sounds that go along with each letter they learn. Kindergartners do a lot of writing practice on whiteboards with pencils and forming with Play-Doh as well.
Oh. Mrs. Korea tells us that first graders have made a very nice transition into school this year. In math, they are learning about combinations to 5 and 10 and how numbers are composed and decomposed. They are also learning about letters and sounds and how they work together to make words. First graders are writing personal narratives and love sharing stories with each other. Science is very exciting as they learn about sound energy. One first grader asks us if we know that you can see a sound wave using a tuning fork and a bowl of water. They were so excited about that. They are looking forward to reading more, writing more, and learning addition equations up to 100.
The second grade has had an incredible start to their school year. They are learning about classroom expectations and routines in their new classrooms. We asked Ms. Nicosia what her classes is looking forward to this year. She told us that the second graders are excited to learn about maps this year. They will also focus on money, and they spend a lot of time focusing on their writing. One second grader described our school as the GOAT.
Students at TES are participating in a new special for the first trimester of this year. Mrs. Clark is teaching Tiger Time. This special focuses on social emotional learning. Every class begins by practicing a mindfulness strategy that they can use. Throughout the trimester, students will learn about a variety of topics, including our stripes core values, thoughts and feelings, responsible decision making, growth mindset, and bullying prevention and intervention. After working with individual classrooms at TES for the past 4 years, Mrs. Clark is so excited to get to know all of the students in kindergarten through 5th grade.
The third graders have been busy these last few weeks learning their new routines and schedules. Mrs. Triscetta tells us that they have been learning about plants and flowers and are eagerly waiting for their lima bean seeds to turn into plants. In math, they are learning about how to round to 3-digit numbers to the nearest tens and hundreds. English language arts is their busiest subject because they have reading, writing, studying phonics, grammar, and vocabulary. Boy, do I remember that. They are reading and discussing all sorts of books. Their latest discussions have been about story elements. In writing, third graders are making sure they have sentences and not fragments so they can build to writing paragraphs.
We reached out to Ms. Worcester to ask her about 4th grade. She tells us that she had a great start. One of their opening activities was making bead bracelets as an entire grade. Each person had to pick a word that would represent their goal for this year. Students had to choose a word such as hard work, respect, kindness, growth, and change. In reading, they have been getting lost in their books and enjoying many drawings from their classroom libraries. To get 4th graders' creative juices flowing, they've been doing quick writes on topics such as what if I found $100? What if I woke up with a superpower? And what if I took the wrong bus home? 4th graders are busy learning how to add and subtract up to 6-digit numbers, read a map, and how energy works in the world around us. 4th grade teachers are happy to report that students have settled in nicely to 4th grade and have been making new friends and having fun.
If you walk by the gym, you might notice a new teacher. We are all excited to welcome Mrs. Shepard to TES. Every physical education class begins with a warm-up and fitness exercise, and then transitions into an activity that is relevant to the unit they are in. This month, we have been working on tossing and catching, and next month, we will be dribbling with our feet. We asked her what she loves about her job, and she told us she loves to play a variety of tag games with the students and looks forward to seeing everyone grow together as a team throughout the year.
5th graders are off to a fantastic start. We started the school year by discussing the important job of being the oldest students in the school. We will work hard to show our stripes and be role models for the younger students at TES. Being the oldest in the school also means that we get some special privileges like hosting our Tiger Talk morning news program.
We reached out to the counselor for help with our different subjects. We are learning a lot in all subject areas, and we are getting used to our new routines and schedules. In math, we are practicing with applying the order of operations. In science, we are exploring the states of matter. In social studies, we are learning about important European explorers and how their discoveries changed and improved map images. In ELA, we are getting into reading routines, learning about our classroom libraries, and exploring a variety of genres together. It's going to be a great year.
Hopefully by now, everyone has heard about our second annual walkathon on October 18th. Miss Richardson, Communication and Media Director, has been helping to promote the event. It takes place during the day at TES and really feels like a big outdoor party. All money we raise will help supplement the cost of school events and assemblies. Focus on our striped core values, materials to enhance our classrooms, and staff appreciation. Top grade level wins an ice cream party, and the top class wins a pizza party. Can't wait for October 18th.
A few times during our presentation tonight, we've talked about our Stripes core values. These are values we embrace each day at school. STRIPES is an acronym that stands for sincerity, teamwork, respect, inclusion, perseverance, and empathy. We follow our STRIPES promise each day, which is number 1, we are kind and respectful in our words and our actions. Number 2, we keep hands, feet, and objects to ourselves so that everyone is safe. And number 3, we will show respect by treating others the way they want to be treated.
Dr. Flanagan, Mr. Woodluck, Mr. Messina, student representative Bari Atik, and dedicated school committee members, thank you for showing your stripes and working hard to support our teachers and staff at TES. We appreciate you taking the time to hear from us this evening.
Excellent job. That was amazing. This was probably the longest presentation out of the 3 schools. The third school to present to us. We say it every year. When the 3 schools come in to present, it's the best 3 nights of our entire year as a committee. Everything we do in this room, we do for you guys. So to hear you guys come in, present is awesome. And thank you very much for that. There's a lot of adults that couldn't do what the 5 of you just did. Pretty cool. So thank you very much. I'm going to open it up because I know some of our members may have some questions for you. Probably talk about breakfast a little bit because that seems to be a big topic with Mr. McMahon.
I love
Likes
breakfast.
So what's your favorite part of the school year? What's your favorite thing about TES?
I like how kind the teachers are.
I really like the new playgrounds. They're a lot of fun. And then we also have some games on the playground, like Find It or, and some like tag and stuff.
I like when it's specialist time.
What's your favorite specialist?
Art.
I like having specialists first thing in the morning.
I'll get you going. You know, tag means touch and go. Just in case.
I didn't know that.
Were you today years old when you knew that?
Hashtag TIL.
I had to think about that.
I was.
Mr. McMahon?
Yeah, so 2 things. 1, breakfast is good in the morning. It's also great for dinner, so don't sell that short. So you guys are 5th graders, going to be done this year, going into middle school. What's your favorite memory in the years you've been at the elementary school?
I think my favorite memories are with all my friends over the years. Like, I've made friends with pretty much everyone in the school.
My favorite memory is all the teachers that I had.
I like that we're able to read to our teachers when we get a prize or something.
I like field day.
My favorite memory was when my kindergarten teacher taught me how to draw a stick figure.
Nice.
Ryan,
You guys didn't know.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I have had the great privilege and honor of knowing several of you for several years. And Baxter made a really good point to mention that you guys are now the oldest in the school and the big kids, right? If you had to give one piece of advice to all those kindergartners and preschool kids that just started this year, what would you tell them?
Study as much as you can and learn as much as you can.
I would say appreciate your teachers.
Never back down and never give up. To push through things that are hard and to always ask questions.
Awesome.
Great answers.
Good
Mr.
job,
Bell?
guys.
Yeah. With you all being 5th graders, you've certainly, I'm sure each of you have earned your own stripe stickers at one point or another. Which letter of stripes is the most important to each of you?
Respect.
I think perseverance.
Same.
Empathy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with empathy as well.
Excellent. All good answers, good questions. I know we talked about the custodians for a minute and thanking them for all the work they do during the summer. They actually do an amazing job. And I graduated 2, 3, 4 years ago. But the one person that I truly remember from elementary school was Mr. Pat, who was our custodian, because I cried for the first 3 days of elementary school and had to sit with him for 8 hours a day. So they are very, very important, not only as
It was 8 hours a
as
day.
cleaners or maintenance personnel, but they're also involved in the students' lives every day. They're very instrumental in this whole process. So thank you for recognizing them and the work that they do as well.
So I think that speaks to the greater community that TES is. We heard all about the academic programming. We heard about the social emotional work going on there. We heard about the Stripes core value. We worked in a commercial for our fundraiser that's coming up about the Stripes Walkathon. So I think you guys covered everything. That was phenomenal. You did a fantastic job. So incredibly proud of you. Mr. Chair, I think we should probably take a recess for a minute or two so we can get some pictures
Absolutely.
as we go forward.
Yes.
So Mr. Piper in the back room, we're going to shut this down for a minute once we get a formal vote.
Make a motion to take a quick recess?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries 600. All right, good evening, we're back. Thank you again to our elementary school students and their parents for bringing them out this evening. At this time, we'll go back to our regular scheduled meeting. Item number 7, subcommittee update.
All right, the technology subcommittee met tonight, and the purpose of the meeting this evening was to review a request for kind of a classroom management monitoring type software. We talked about some of the different options that are up there, what kind of drove this request, and ultimately, the committee's going to table this for now, but Mr. Woodlock and Mr. Piper will be keeping this front of mind and kind of monitoring and data gathering, and if we need to come back and revisit in the future, we will do so.
Awesome, thank you. Number 8, unfinished business, MSBA update. Pat Flanagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll jump into the slide deck at this time. So upcoming meetings at this point. Currently, we're scheduled to meet on October 17th, though we're going to have some discussion about that later on tonight. So if we go to the next slide, oh, hold on a second. We have school building committee on the October 18th. Again, that might be amended as well based on new information about a pre-town meeting. Fall town meeting, the big fall town meeting is Tuesday, October 24th at 7 p.m. at the elementary school. And then our next 2 regularly scheduled school committee meetings are November 14th and 28th. So we'll go to the next slide. So there has been a lot of action since our last school committee meeting. There's been a lot of discussion, and I think in terms of the school building committee itself and the project itself, I think we are in an outstanding spot. As you know, at our last school committee meeting, we were waiting on a final bid from the electrical contractor. We had $7.4 million budgeted, and we had $1 million in contingency fund committed to that. We're pleased to say that bid came in $85,000-ish under our budget. So that allowed us to take $1 million of contingency money and take that off of the existing overage. So as we stand today, as the school building committee voted last Wednesday night and was supported 5-0 by the select board last night, the current school building project is on budget. The taxpayers will not be charged 1 penny more to get the entire project as voted in May 2022. The way we accomplished that or achieved that or arrived at that number was we have an additional, we have $5 million overage. $4.1 million from the MSBA offset a significant amount of that. The MSBA changing their language to allow rebates to be added on top of their reimbursement and not come off of their reimbursement brings about another $500,000, about $500,000. So that's about 4.6 of our $5 million problem. The school building committee decided to tap into contingency funds to the tune of $400,000, or $393,000 exactly, to ensure that the softball field and the campus canopy are included in part of the project. So right now, there is zero tax dollar increase to the taxpayers of the community to get this project built as voted in May of 2022 by 85% of the people at town meeting and 67% of the people at the ballot. So we're in great shape in that sense. What we still need to do is we need to go to town meeting and get a 2/3 yes vote on this to allow the town authorization to borrow up to the new overage, which is 4.6 million over. So that's what we need authorization to. But again, the tax impact to the taxpayer is zero. That being said, we have worked with the Ethics Commission to put together a mailer. The mailer was finalized an hour before this meeting. It's at the printer tonight, and we will have a direct mailing to every resident in the community that'll have a FAQ page on it that will talk about the $0 tax impact, that'll talk about our need for authorization to borrow up to, but not necessarily requirement to borrow at that level. We just need authorization to, in the event something happens in the MSBA, the legislators vote to disband the MSBA, which isn't going to happen. So we are in great shape as a community as we stand right now. Additionally, so let's talk about the $393 from the contingency fund. The $393,000 from the contingency fund brought our contingency level down from about 5.8 to about 5.2, 5.3. Percent, thank you. So the recommendation by our OPM is to have about 5% in contingency. So we still have a healthy contingency of over $3.3 million going into construction. So we're in great shape there. Additionally, the select board has made the recommendation that the town seek authorization from the CPC to fund the softball field. If the CPC supports funding the softball field, that $393,000 of contingency goes back into the project And if it's not used, it's not borrowed, and it's not taxed. It doesn't come part of our total bill. The reason we'd go to the CPC for funding for the softball field is because the state matches almost dollar for dollar the cost with the CPC. So we could be getting a softball field at about $150,000 to $180,000 as opposed to the $330,000 that we'd be paying as taxpayers in the community. So it makes perfect sense, and there is money available in the CPC, and our initial understanding is there is a will of the CPC to support this project. But that is, that's a task that the select board and maybe the capital asset committee will have a conversation about. So that's trending in the right direction, or in a very good direction as well. What am I missing? I feel like I've talked about a lot of things. I feel like we're in a great spot. We need 2/3 of the people to come out and vote and support this. I guess one of the questions, and I kind of did a staff meeting at both the elementary and the middle school today, available for all staff. And one of the questions I was asked was, what happens if it doesn't pass? And it's a great question. What happens if it doesn't pass is we would have to resubmit architectural plans to the MSBA. They would have to ensure that those plans were in alignment with our educational programming that they've already approved, and we'd have to sit and wait and hear back from them. All the while, costs for the project continue to go up. So it doesn't behoove us as a community to delay on this. This is the right thing to do at zero cost to the taxpayer. You're not going to pay one more dollar than was already approved in May of 2022. I feel like I should answer questions at this point, if there are any, because I'm kind of all over the map. So basically what I try to do is take a 30-minute presentation, 25 slides that was presented last night's select board, and just kind of condense that to the 30,000-foot view. But I'm happy to answer any questions. So is Tony as well.
Yes.
Are there any remaining bids to come in?
Thank you. We are 93% bought out in terms of services and product. So we're in very good shape. Very good
I
shape.
believe furnishings is,
FF&E is left, fixtures, furniture, and equipment, and we already built in $200 additional dollars of escalation from what they were seeing just recently. So we have contingency for that. We have owner's soft contingency and construction cost contingency. So there's still a good amount of contingency left to should something go sideways.
And Dr. Flanagan, if you
Yes.
could, the remaining 7%, you know, there were a lot of things in that original 93% that they were very unsure of what those numbers were going to be and wary. There's a high degree of confidence amongst all the builders in Left Field and JCJ that those numbers are not going to be something unexpected.
Because a lot of those are built in, they call GMP, guaranteed maximum price, so we won't exceed a certain number. So again, we're in very good shape at this point.
So being the optimist that I like to be, is there a chance that we could come in under and have some contingency left?
Yes.
And so we could actually end up being under with the additional money from MSBA and all that stuff? There's
Yes.
actually a chance we come in under budget.
Yes.
Excellent.
under the initial
Spending.
tax.
54.5, 54.5 spending on this time, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And again, and I'll just add to what
Please.
Dr. Flanagan said, is we need the ability per MSBA guidelines to be able to borrow the additional 4.6 million. But we don't have the need to. And I think that's an important point for people to know, is that just because we have the ability to, doesn't mean we're going to.
So I think, is there an electronic format of the mailer you're sending out?
Yes.
Because I think it's going to be very important to circulate that social media, because as we all know, social media can be full of misinformation and people talking very confidently about things they don't know the answers to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that having that out there and just going back to that as, our resource will be very useful.
And I think to that point, thank you, to that point, one of the things that we were contingent upon was that electrical bid. And that electrical bid came in on Friday, the 22nd, and that could have been $7.5 million to $8.5 million. And we didn't know where it was going to land. So we fortunately came in on budget, and we had that $1 million built in contingency. So the next Wednesday night, the numbers were calculated Monday, Tuesday. That following Wednesday, the school building committee made this decision and made this recommendation and said, we need to get to the select board, which we did last night, to get it approved. So it hasn't been a matter of trying to sneak up on town meeting. It's been a matter of, we need to see the process through and see where the numbers come in. Because misinformation or bad information or untimely information is no good either. This is where we are at 93% bought out, and we have a strong level of confidence that we're in very good shape.
And I'd also like to just point out, that the school building committee also value engineered out over $4 million worth of this project. So this number could be a whole lot worse if it wasn't for the work of that committee. Dr. Flanagan, his staff left field, JCJ. So we took out, we weren't building a Taj Mahal to begin with. It was a pretty lean project to start with. And I should mention that I'm the co-chair of that committee as well. So there wasn't a whole lot to cut, but we found ways to do it. We changed the heating, the air conditioning system, which allowed us to lower the ceilings by a foot, which may not sound like a lot to some people, but a foot of construction throughout that entire project was a huge cost savings to us. Added 3 additional feet in the classrooms, in the corner of one of the classrooms, in all the classrooms. So we were able to save not only on the heat and air conditioning system, but also on the height of the building and cost of those materials and so on and so forth. So there was a lot going on in that as well. So I just thought that was worth mentioning.
I want to say, as a parent of a daughter and a lifelong softball player, I'm really grateful that the softball field made it back into the final project. We lost the field to build this project, and it was with the understanding that we'd get a new one. I know it was kind of iffy for a while, so I'm really happy to hear that it's back in.
Yeah, and I think the school building committee recognized that, which is why we were willing to risk contingency money to, as they say in the construction, we'll put a fence around that money. So we were gonna make sure that project got done. And I think it's great that the select board came up with the idea to let's potentially go after CPC money so we can protect the contingency and cost our taxpayers a dollar, or save 50% of the cost. So
Also, a big thank you to Senator Kennedy, who pushed the bill for additional funding.
Representative Gary, absolutely.
Representative Gary, the MSBA, the governor for approving that budget and giving them the ability to do that. So, thank you.
So we're hopeful for a positive vote on town meeting on the 24th. Again, we need 2/3 to support that. So if there are no more questions there, I'll just go to the next picture. So today we had a great day. Yesterday, there was a beam signing, so all the middle schoolers, students got to go out and sign the beam, which was the last one put in place on the corner of the school, right where we had the groundbreaking ceremony just recently. So here's a picture of the students going out there on lunch and signing the beam, which was great. And then today's ceremony happened, and all the kids were out there, and Mr. Paulett read a story about the importance of the Norwegian myth behind why there's a tree on here. Is because no building, no man-made structure should ever be taller than the tallest tree around. That was just one of those wives' tales. So that was out there, and we did the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Paul told that story, and all the middle school kids got to see the final beam be raised and put in place. Excuse me, not the final beam in that section. There's still a whole nother wing to go. So here is a current construction picture. You can see, actually, this was taken last week, and this looks dated, because the progress they've made in 1 week is incredible. There's actually a roof on top of the gym right now. All the steel structures in the gym right now. The central office along the right side is all framed out with steel, and they just capped off with that, just to the right of that crane today with that beam. So the work is flying, and they've done a great job with that. So we're excited about that. I think we have one more picture in there. And again, just a top-down look at the footprint of the building coming together. It's just incredible. So great work by everyone there. So what lies ahead? Townwide mailer. The hope is that it is in the mail by Friday of this week. It may not be till Monday of next week. We're doing the best we can. And then we just need to get the vote out at town meeting, fall town meeting on October 24th. For a 2/3 yes vote. It is Article 10. This will be the last article of the evening, much like it was I think it was the last town meeting. But
Just a thought, would it be better to send it out on the Monday or the Tuesday because it's a long weekend and it might get lost in the weekend plans? Just a thought.
It's not a bad thought. Getting something at your house on a Tuesday or Wednesday is better than getting it on a Friday, Saturday.
when you're gonna just, especially if you're going away.
It still gives you 2 weeks. Yeah, that's a good call. So we will look at that. Anything else in the building before we move on to 8B?
I just think it's cool that they have drones so we can get those pictures.
They do a great job with that. All right, all good. Just a brief MASs legislative update, Mr. Chair. As you know, I serve on that MASs committee. There are several bills in the pipeline right now. There are 2 bills right now that address student discipline at schools across the Commonwealth and really look at climate and culture in the schools. And really, both bills have a very different approach to providing administration the ability to put students out of school who are disruptive to the entire learning environment. So it's just 2 different approaches. So I'm just monitoring both those bills right now. We actually just got access to them, so we're going to have further conversation about that. Additional bills that are coming down as well. There are 3 special education bills. One is looking at the overall health and sustainability of special education as it exists. I think we know when it comes to budget season every year, that is one of our biggest budget drivers. Additionally, 2 other additional bills that talk about circuit breaker, which was originally supposed to be funded at 100%, and we haven't seen 100%. I don't know if ever. So right now, we get about 75% reimbursement, and there's the bill to hold people accountable to make sure that we get it 90%. There was a literacy bill out there that is somewhat problematic, I would say, for school districts in that it is mandating what programs you use, and if you choose not to use those programs, you may not receive state funding. So there's a literacy task force looking at that. Along with that literacy bill, there also comes down several mandates in terms of your literacy strategic plan and checkpoints and testing, and it puts a lot on classroom teachers. So we're really having a lot of conversation about that one. We've talked for years about unfunded mandates. This would be another unfunded mandate. So we're looking at that. And then there are 2 bills out there that talk about educator diversity bills that talk about recruitment, retainment, and hiring a diverse workforce. And I think the overwhelming statement from superintendents across the district is we're having a hard time hiring any workforce. So to put specific targets and expectations is difficult. So it really talks about looking at what we're doing in terms of recruiting, and it's very difficult. I think some of the districts, and certainly in the western part of the state, have a real hard time recruiting candidates for all their positions. So, it's a geographically challenging bill. So, that's what's coming down the pike right now in the legislation. I'm getting up to speed on all this information. I will offer a Tyngsborough perspective and opinion on all of these, and I will keep you abreast as we move. But that's kind of the legislative update at this point.
Perfect, thank you. Teaching and learning, Mr. Woodlock.
Well, this is much less exciting than everything else we've talked about. For parents out there, the plan is all of the MCAS tests and results that we've received thus far have been made their way to the schools. And the hope is if we can get all the clerical work done and the organization done, that those will go home on Friday. So just a heads up on that. But when it comes to MCAS results being released, I don't think it's as big of a deal as maybe it used to be 10 or 15 years ago, but still, it's a really important data point for us as a district and for us as administrators, teachers of classrooms, and for our students to identify, like, where are we at? How are we doing on those things? But I do want to stress really quickly that it's a data point, singular. It's one day or a couple of days during a school year where a student who may or may not test well takes a test. And so sometimes that's skewed very positively for students doing very well, and sometimes it may look like a student's not making much growth when they really just had a couple of poor days. So with that in mind, we don't take it lightly to just brush over the data, because it's really strong data, and we want to make sure that we look at it and utilize it as best we can to help us grow in our district. So I'm just giving you a heads up that currently we're disaggregating a lot of the data that's come in, and it's not just MCAS data, because the states released their new update. So if you go on the school and district profiles within the DESE website, you can look at Tyngsborough, you can look at each school, and there's literally thousands of data points that you can look at there, and that's just been released for 2023. So we're beginning to take a look at that, not only at the district level, but at the school level and probably the department level here at the high school and the middle school. But as we do that, and as we start seeing trends or identifying opportunities for us to grow, that's where we're going to start compiling information. And that's information that I'll be sharing with you at some point down the road. And we're not going to rush. We may not have a school committee meeting for some time now, and we have things planned, and budget season's coming up. But I just wanted you to know that that's being looked at on our end. We're also working, if you remember, we were selected to be part of an inclusive instructional inclusive academy, and part of what we're doing there is we're looking at data trends within our school, not just MCAS, but accountability data that's released, SAT data, AP courses, those types of things, and not just scores, but how many students and what types of students are taking those courses. Is an inequitable ratio compared to our overall district demographics. So we're looking at a lot of things. Data is a focal point for our administrators this year, not just at the building level, but us as well at the district level. So people are hard at work, and I think once we get it compiled, we'll be able to put together something that will help us grow as a district. Anyone have any questions on any of that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move down to 9B, Tyngsborough High School overnight field trip.
Yes, this is the Mr. Raris field trip that happens every year. It's a great opportunity for kids. I think I know the cost is $450. Generally, about 30 or 40 kids, or the first 30 or 40 that sign up, get an opportunity to go. Great trip. They leave on Friday morning. They go to New York City. You can see Dallas Barbecue. They go to Times Square. They see a production right there on Broadway, which is great. And then Saturday, they go World Trade Center, Rockefeller Center with some free time, and then they come home. So it's nonstop. It's all go. But for the students that have gone to it in the past, they love it, and it's just a great time. So I'm seeking your approval to, again, approve this overnight travel for Mr. Raris and the high school to New York City. I don't know if anyone wants to comment on that.
Well, both of my girls went,
Yeah.
and they loved it. It was a phenomenal trip. And Mr. Raris knows his stuff, so they have a great time in New York.
Yeah.
Barry, will you be going?
Probably this year, yeah. Last year I had a fever, so yeah. This year, hopefully.
I will make the motion to approve the field trip.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That carries 600. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Raris, for continuing to do this
Yes.
field trip.
Yep, it's a
Very-
lot of work, but does a great
very
job with
important
it.
to the kids. Dr. Flanagan, the school committee meeting schedule?
Yeah, we teased this out a little bit earlier in the night, and we talked about our October 17th meeting, but that will be the night of pre-town meeting. Generally, pre-town meeting is an opportunity for anyone who has any questions about any warrant articles to come and ask those questions, get further clarification. I think it's critical that myself and members of the school building committee be at the pre-town meeting to answer any questions. That being said, I would suggest that we cancel our school committee meeting, given the fact that I don't think we want to have it on Halloween, and the following week is town meeting. So, that being said, I think if we could just cancel this one meeting, use the single signer option at some point, and I think we've seen the 3 openings at all 3 schools, which is great. We'll get back on track with special education presenting in November, and then potentially technology presenting in November as well, and then we'll get into budget season. So I think we're at a good spot to do this, and I think it makes sense.
I know this might be a very difficult motion for somebody.
I'm not making it. I'm not making it.
I'd like to make a motion to cancel the October 17th school committee meeting.
Second.
I'm going to be here anyways.
Yeah. I hate to ask, but any further conversation? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstained? That carries 600.
We will amend the calendar.
Mr. Messina.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For signing of bills, there were 7 bill warrants presented to the committee tonight. I do have them back approved. As always, in your drive is the list of warrant numbers, accounts, and amounts. And for signing of payroll in your drive are the payroll dates of September 11th and September 25th in your drive. And only one other thing in other, We're into 3 weeks of breakfast, since it's a very popular topic for a few members here. Interestingly, the Norris Road campus seems to have a steady incline in participation over the 3 weeks, where last week we were at 2,100 total across the district for the entire week, and this campus is actually almost even to the elementary school at this point, with breakfast being taken. So I think it's incredible that this campus is participating at that number. I never expected that, and it was sort of, when breakfast became free, it was sort of the elementary school that was interested in making the program work in their operation, and the superintendent came to me and said, we should do it here too. And it turned out much better than the other times we've done breakfast here. So going to continue to monitor the counts. We do get them weekly, and we'll keep you informed.
Awesome. Thank you very much. School committee discussion. We'll start with Pari.
I'd like to just thank the elementary school for presenting today. That's all. Thank you.
Yep, same. Thank you, the elementary school students. They did a great job, and certainly I think they were our finest dressed of any group we've had in quite a while. And thank you to everyone who's been putting so much time into the new middle school and the work that's gone into making sure that we could get back to the taxpayers with zero additional hit to anyone in the community at this point. That was no small effort, and it's great that we're there.
I'm good, thank you.
All set? Thank you.
Yeah, I've got to repeat what's already been said. The elementary school kids, they just seem to get better and better every year. It's amazing their confidence, they come in, their preparedness, wonderful speakers, and look forward to seeing them maybe present as middle schoolers in a few years. Other than that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
I would also like to thank the elementary school kids. They were amazing. They did a great job. They were so poised and so eloquent. Also, I want to thank those that donated for the lights on Pierce Field. That's amazing. It's so nice to see the town coming together to support the kids. And that's it for me.
Yeah, similar thoughts. Elementary school did amazing. They always do. They're always very well prepared. Also want to thank everybody who donated. A lot of those names you hear again and again throughout town, they're always donating to all the sports leagues, Denomi, Durkin, Carbon Colors, Byther, Provincial. It's the same people over and over that are really invested in this town. So thanks again for stepping up once again. And I want to thank the school building committee and the board of selectmen for recognizing the need to get that softball field and putting that back in the project.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank the TES fifth graders for coming in. I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit, having known some of those kids for so long. They did a great job, and I'm excited to see how the school year goes for them. Already teared up again. Thanks to the middle school building committee for all your hard work, and to echo what Jeff said, to be able to look at fellow community members and say, no, they got it, so that there's no additional tax impact as the questions are asked is huge, and definitely no small effort, and so I want to make sure that's recognized. And I also just want to take this soapbox to encourage everybody to go to the pre-town meeting on October 17th, because there's a lot of information that's given, not just about the middle school, but every warrant article, and they're very informative, so make sure you get out and go to that 6:30 on October 17th. That is it.
Great job, TES. I'd be remiss, and I think I say it every year, the adoptive family program is incredible in this town. It's important, it's historic, and we talk about the names in the community that keep giving back. Well, that stemmed from the Larry Kelleher's and Chief Chronopoulos of this world who built that climate and culture in this community. And that's something that is critically important, and I think something that we need to honor and keep moving on with. So thank you for those in the community who run the program, Adopt a Family, and for everyone in the town who supports it. It is critically important. Thank you.
Thank you again to the elementary school. Again, great job by all those kids. Thank you to the parents for bringing them out and allowing them to present to us this evening. Thank you to everyone for recognizing the school building committee. It's really been a lot of work. Dr. Flanagan, his staff, Mr. Messina, put in more time than probably anybody. Members of the town hall who are very involved, invested in this project as well. So thank you to them for all the time they put in. Conference calls, meetings, things that maybe the whole committee's not involved in on a day-to-day basis like these guys are. Coordinating with all of our vendors, left field, JCJ, Fontaine, on how they operate within this little community here on Norris Road as well. Making sure that our kids are safe, our parking lots are good, construction workers are good. So thank you to you and your staff for everything you guys do for us as well. We do not have a need for executive session, so at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would make that motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries. Thank you very much. Have a good night.